who we miss around the Thanksgiving table. And I think for all of us as we go into this Thanksgiving season, it's an incredible season. It's so beautiful. And I remember years ago reading a Facebook study, and they looked at the day of the year that had the most positive words to it, and it was Thanksgiving. Like, big surprise there. But it's just there's empirical evidence that it really is just the peak day of the year in many ways for many people. Not for everybody, not every year, but certainly for a lot of people most of the time. And part of that is to remember too, and to acknowledge, friends, that for all of us, as we look around the table, there will be seats that are empty. Now, I don't mean literally seats that are empty, though that might happen, but a seat that we wish was filled by someone, is someone who may have passed recently or may have passed a long time ago, but somebody who just when we think about Thanksgiving, it's like we feel the loss, we feel the absence, we feel the melancholy, and oftentimes that melancholy, it's like Richard Rohr uses the phrase "bright sadness." It's bright because it's filled with a lot of really beautiful memories, and it's sad because they're not there anymore. And what are some things just that we can do with that? Because I think with Thanksgiving, it's real important to just take note of it and know that God holds those moments too. Well, the first one I would offer to you is, please don't ever be afraid of using someone's name. In other words, if you have a family member or a friend who's joining you for Thanksgiving who's gone through a recent loss, talk about the person using their name. It's on their mind. And if they don't want to talk about it, trust me, they'll let you know. They'll let you know. But I've seen a lot more. I don't want to use the word damage. That's way too strong a term. I've seen people sadder because a loved one's name was not used than sad over the fact that it was used. So whoever you're missing, just use that name. Ask the person about them. Tell them about them. Tell whatever it might be. Use that name. And the second part is this, folks. And this is one I was thinking of this morning. This weekend had a beautiful memorial service that I got to take part in, and with these memorial services, they're just, it's amazing to watch how families work. And again, life has strains, and no family's ever perfect. Get all that, but it's amazing how much how much we see just of the tenderness of human beings and the tenderness of the connections when we go through memorial services. And what I was thinking on today is that it's interesting how a life, like looking at a life, and for yesterday, it was a life. It was the life of Leon Graham. And we look at a life, and it teaches us about life. A life gives us reflections of life. And it's kind of interesting. Like, it goes in and we look at this person, we look at their legacy, and then there's some miracle juju that God does that I do not understand, but somehow it comes out the other end and helps us to just understand life a lot better. It's hard to put exact language around that, but I think there's something there. And that's another way, folks, just to be aware of, like, for those who you miss around the table, what was it that they showed you about life? What was it that they showed you about life? You could use that question. You could say, all right, have a conversation. Who do we miss? I wouldn't do it right at the table per se with Thanksgiving, but have time to be able to share with your friends and family. Who do you miss around the table? And what did they teach you about life? And feel free, again, some folks leave some beautiful comments, throughout the week on our Facebook page here and or on YouTube. Feel free to leave those comments. That is totally fine to do. And just like, oh yeah, this is who I'm missing this Thanksgiving. This is who's not around the table. And this is what they taught me about life, and I think, for me, I think of my grandpa Charlie, who is just such an amazing man and really formative for me in my life. Miss having him every Thanksgiving, every holiday. I think about him. And what did he teach me about life? Well, he just had a humble, stick to itedness that is just was so inspirational. He was just a guy who got stuff done very quietly. He got a lot done and just made the world a much better place without a lot of fanfare, without a lot of, hey, world, look at me. He just did stuff. And I so appreciate that about him, and appreciate that about his legacy. That idea of a humble servant who who just gets stuff done. Gotta love that. So, who is that for you, folks? And again, as you go into Thanksgiving, say their name, share their name, ask someone to share someone who they're thinking of, and then ask, well, what did they teach you about life? Because we're all in it together. I really do firmly believe we're here, and God puts us in each other's lives for specific purposes because we have specific gifts to offer. Our job is to draw close enough to understand what those good gifts are and serve those from a Christian Youth Church perspective. That's what we call serving the good that's in the neighbor. We get close enough to these people, and being close enough to a memory, actually, where we see what the good was in them and we serve that. We serve that good. In other words, we give breath to it. We help to amplify it in any way we can, and the imperfect ways that all human beings do things. But that's what we're looking to do. So, friends, that's the thought for today as we get into Thanksgiving. And I'll have another Thanksgiving message for you tomorrow. And what we're going to do now we're going to get a little breath. And we're going to shift gears. Shifting gears looks like this. It looks like I do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing. And then after those things, what we do is then we have an opportunity to take a look on social media and read any comments that have popped up. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick little peek at our Facebook page. And if you have any comments on there, would love to hear them as always. All right. It's funny how everything just is quieted down. Even on a walk this morning, like a lot of people have started their Thanksgiving, which is great. I'm glad some people are taking a full week, which is beautiful indeed. All right, Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. So yes, everyone else is already on Thanksgiving break. So just wishing you all the best, dear friends. Grab a great Thanksgiving. We'll shoot you a little Thanksgiving note tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.